Well, here it is. I'm finally just so fed up with EA and Madden all together. I've played Madden ever since I can remember. I've played every single one of the games going all the way back to John Madden football. I don't remember what year it was. And I can tell you guys that Madden is not getting better. In fact, it's regressing. And I believe it's been regressing since about 2012. Um, the game it gets better in graphics every year, ever so slightly, but in the areas in which a lot of players play, other than Madden Ultimate Team, it's gotten worse. And in fact, Madden Ultimate Team, it's just new cards every year. That's about it. New ways for us to spend our money. So yeah, Madden is just ridiculous. EA is ridiculous, and here's some areas in which I think they need to fix. Otherwise, I think a lot of people are going to be turned off from EA and from John Madden uh, football or Madden altogether. Okay, so starting off with Madden Ultimate Team, the first thing is with Madden Ultimate Team is you have to spend entirely way too much money to get any cards that you would want, or you have to spend so much time trying to get all of these coins and completing sets that nobody really wants to do it to that level. So Madden Ultimate Team, a huge turnoff for me. I mean, I already spend $60 a year getting the game, and they want me to spend even more money trying to play it, and nobody wants to do that. Yeah, it's just a huge money pit for EA. They are able to do this Ultimate Team and have us spend so much money on Ultimate Team every single year that why would they focus on anything else? So since everybody's just going to play Ultimate Team and spend all of their money, yeah, there's no reason for EA to ever get better. It's ridiculous, and quite frankly, it makes me not want to play Madden. But the most important part for me is the franchise mode or connected franchise. It's not realistic at all. I mean, I play it every single year. Me and a couple of my friends will play it, and we'll play for 20 years. You know, we'll play 20 years on connected franchise mode. We'll do a whole bunch of stuff, and it just we want it to get better. I used to play head coach a lot, and I thought they did a really good job. As far as realism goes, the game wasn't very good as far as like the graphics and the gameplay, but as far as like doing all the trading and the scouting and all your assistant coaches, that was fun. But now you don't get to hire assistants or scouting directors or anything. You just kind of have your coaches, and if you're an owner, you just see your head coach and I believe your scouting director or whatever. So the game's not realistic, and really when you're playing it you get to choose as to be an owner, a coach, or a player. And the problem is when you choose to be one of those, as like a coach, you're not necessarily just a coach. You get to play as all the players. You kind of do everything for your team, whereas a player just plays as the one player. Um, and the owner kind of does everything. They get to kind of be the coach, and they kind of get to deal with. All it does is a coach plus you get to do more stuff as far as with your stadium and where you get to go. So there's no real point in being the coach and having it just affect being the coach. You can turn on coach mode in your settings, but no one does that. It's not really much different than the gameplay. You can immediately go back in and start playing if your quarterback's not throwing it to the open guy. So it's not realistic whatsoever. It makes it kind of a moot point to be a coach on the game or to be especially a player, because as a coach you get to kind of be all of the players. You get to control your defense, you get to control your offense. There's no real like leeway in that. Also, as being a player, there is no story. Like if you play the connected franchise mode, you'll see that there's a news feed, but they're trying to sell that to us like it's a story. It really isn't. When you play it, there's no storyline involved. It doesn't really appeal to me. Like you're just playing the same thing over and over and over again, trying to get better and better players. It's not fun anymore. It's gotten to a point to where it's gotten rather boring. Uh, it's a ridiculous waste of a game, in my opinion. I think EA can do so much better, and I've played their FIFA games, and I thought the new FIFA game was really cool with what they did with the superstar mode or the player mode. The way like you can actually like your decisions like actually mean things. And I've played their UFC games. which are okay, and you still get more leeway as a fighter. But in the Madden connected franchise mode, your player really doesn't do anything. You know, for a game that's so popular, you would think that they would try to make it better, but they don't. You think they would add more to it. Like I played the 2K series, and they actually had a storyline with their career mode, and there is no storyline with the connected franchise. And even if you wanted to be a GM, the GM mode is you do a lot more for your team than you do in a Madden as far as being a coach. So like you like determine like the practices and how the game is played. You can still go in and play the games, but I always used to just sim them. You can do that in Madden, but it doesn't really work the same way. I think I'd like to be able to be on the sideline and actually coach like I did in NFL head coach. I thought that was one of the coolest things out there because I felt like I was so immersed in the game. Like you got to actually create plays, you got to make a game plan for the week. They don't do that in Madden. There is no story. There's not a lot to it. Going back to the player itself, when you're being the player and you used to make it like I think it was Madden '09 was the last year they did it. I'm not sure, but you used to be able to do like mini camps and you did an IQ test before you ever entered the league. You did like a scouting combine. It was just a little mini games that they used to do, which I thought were a lot of fun. I used to play them with my friends whenever we were just kind of bored. We'd play the mini games and see who could do best on the QB drills, and then we would do the wide receiver drill and try to cover each other. That would be so cool because that would determine like your overall coming into the league, and you don't really do that anymore. And then you also get to have agents. They had agents that you could like hire. You could get an agent if you were good enough, and the better you got, the better agents you got. And I thought you kind of immersed yourself in the game. Now EA just kind of doesn't allow us to immerse ourselves in the game. It's more of just the same game that they copy and paste every single year with a little bit better graphics, a little bit better. Oh, the catching is better, but the I don't think the immersion is not. You're not immersed in the gameplay. I'm really excited about Madden, what the future could hold, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to me as if our future is going to hold that. Because like, if you look at the way technology is advancing, the things that we're able to do as far as see how players see the field, I feel like we could eventually get to the point to where Madden is almost like full immersion, which I think that would be really, really awesome because you'd be playing and you could play like VR or something, you know? I don't know what they would do, but I feel like our future holds a lot. I know there's a lot of modes I didn't cover, like Draft Champions, and I think Draft Champions is kind of a cool game mode that was a little bit of an improvement on the gameplay, but they've taken so much out and they've ripped so many of the guts out of Madden over the past years that there's really no point. Like Draft Champions is not a good trade-off for all the modes that they have cut out of Madden. And if EA doesn't start showing as much creativity with Madden as they do with all of their other titles, then I'm going to have to start playing 2K or something. I wish 2K would come back with a game to at least compete with Madden, because with their monopoly, it doesn't seem like they care. It's like you guys are going to buy Madden and you're just going to deal with it. And it really upsets me that they're able to just do that to us as the consumer, because there's really not another option for us to get some NFL football. Another thing I didn't address in the Superstar mode or the connected franchise mode as a player is the fact that you can literally, like on 2K they used to, or they did, I didn't play the 2K17, but in 2K16 you were able to go and be in your college career, and then you would come into the NFL. Now, I know they had that issue with player likeness with the NCAA titles, but you could still do it without the current players. You just make random players and you get to go play, and that would be a lot of fun, I think. For you to come into the NFL, you know, because that could also determine where you get drafted. But if you don't do that, you could still do other things, and I just don't understand why the EA has not uh, tried to improve. They just keep kind of doing the same things over and over again. And as a consumer, as somebody who buys and plays Madden every single year, I am very upset with what they are putting on to us. I think that's going to do it for today. Be sure to like and subscribe this video. If you want to know more uh, of my ideas on Madden or any other games, leave it in the comments. And see you.